They were declared extinct. Not rare, not endangered, extinct. Scientists closed the case, but years later, something moved. A sound in the forest, a shadow on a cliff, a creature no one expected to see again. These are 10 species that vanished from science and then came back. Bermuda Petrel, Cahao, declared extinct, 1620s, rediscovered 1951. Bermuda. The Bermuda Petrel, known locally as the Cahao, is a seabird with long, narrow wings, a hooked beak, and an eerie night call that once echoed across Bermuda. Early sailors hunted it heavily in the 1600s. Introduced rats destroyed its nests. By the 1620s, it was declared extinct. For over 300 years, no confirmed sightings. Then in 1951, conservationist Robert Cushman Murphy and Bermudian naturalist David Wingate located 18 nesting pairs on remote rocky islets. Alive. Today, the population has grown to over 130 breeding pairs through artificial burrows and predator control, from total disappearance to one of the world's most carefully protected seabirds. La Palma giant lizard declared extinct, 16th century after European arrival. Rediscovered, 2007. Canary Islands. This reptile looks prehistoric. Growing up to 30 inches long with thick scales and a heavy body, the La Palma giant lizard once roamed the Canary Islands. After cats and rats were introduced centuries ago, it vanished, declared extinct. Then in 2007, biologists surveying a steep volcanic cliff on La Palma Island spotted movement. A surviving colony. The lizards had survived in nearly inaccessible rock faces. Today, conservationists breed them in captivity and protect remaining cliff habitats. From extinction to survival on the edge of a volcano. New Guinea singing dog declared extinct in the wild. 1970s rediscovered genetically. 2016 to 2019. Papua Highlands small, fox-like, with amber eyes and a thick double coat. But what makes them extraordinary is their voice. They don't bark. They sing, producing harmonic howls that shift in pitch. For decades, they were believed extinct in the wild, surviving only in captivity. Then in 2016, researchers documented wild Highland wild dogs in Papua. Genetic testing in 2019 confirmed it. They are direct relatives and possibly the original wild population of the New Guinea singing dog. A lost wild lineage had survived in remote mountain ranges over 13,000 feet above sea level. Not gone, just unheard. Wallace's giant bee declared extinct. 1981, no confirmed sightings for decades. Rediscovered, 2019, Indonesia. The largest bee on Earth, nearly 4 times the size of a honeybee, with a wingspan over 2.5 inches. Massive jaws used to scrape tree resin. First discovered in 1858 by Alfred Russel Wallace. Then lost. For nearly 40 years, no confirmed sightings. Declared possibly extinct. In 2019, a team of researchers found a single female nesting inside a termite mound in Indonesia. Alive. It remains extremely rare, with habitat loss from logging as its main threat. A bee so large it looks prehistoric, surviving in silence. Terror skink declared extinct, known only from fossil remains rediscovered, 2003, Solomon Islands. The name alone commands attention, terror skink. For decades, this species was known only from fossil fragments, bits of bone, that suggested a large, formidable reptile once lived in the Pacific Islands. Scientists assumed it had vanished long ago, but the fossils told a story. This was no ordinary skink. Unlike most skinks, which feed mainly on insects, the terror skink had powerful jaws and sharp, backward-curving teeth built for gripping and subduing larger prey. It was likely a predator of smaller reptiles, birds, or even rodents. Then in 2003, herpetologists conducting field surveys on a remote island in the Solomon Islands encountered something unexpected in the dense tropical forest. a large skink nearly 2 feet long, alive. It matched the fossil evidence. A species believed to belong only to the past was still moving through the forest undergrowth. Heavy-bodied, muscular, secretive, living in thick rainforest far from major human disturbance. The rediscovery revealed that this apex reptilian predator had quietly survived in isolated island habitats. A species thought to be prehistoric until it stepped out of the shadows. The Voeltzkow chameleon declared extinct. Last seen 1913. Rediscovered 2018. Madagascar. Bright green body, purple and turquoise facial markings, and a tail that coils like a spring. Voeltzkow's chameleon had not been seen for over 100 years. Scientists assumed habitat loss had wiped it out. In 2018, a team conducting surveys in northwestern Madagascar found them thriving in seasonal forest. Even more surprising, the females display vivid colors during breeding season, making them one of the most visually striking chameleons ever documented. A century missing, hidden in plain sight. Crested gecko, declared extinct, 1900s after 1906 sighting, rediscovered 1994, New Caledonia. With eyelash-like crests over its eyes and a prehensile tail, the crested gecko looks almost mythical. After 1906, no confirmed sightings. Assumed extinct for nearly 90 years. Then in 1994, after a tropical storm in New Caledonia, researchers surveying forest damage rediscovered them. They had survived in dense rainforest canopy. Today, they are bred worldwide in captivity, but wild populations remain vulnerable to habitat destruction. A species gone for almost a century. Now one of the most recognizable reptiles on Earth. Silver-backed chevrotain. Declared extinct, 1990. Rediscovered, 2019, Vietnam. The silver-backed chevrotain looks like a tiny deer crossed with a mouse. Standing just 10 inches tall and weighing under 10 pounds. With delicate legs, a dark brown body, and a distinctive silver-gray patch on its back. After 1990, no confirmed records. Scientists believed hunting had wiped it out. Then, in 2019, camera traps placed in Vietnamese forests captured images of the animal. Alive. A ghost species stepping quietly through the undergrowth. Today, its population is still unknown, but it remains extremely rare and threatened by snaring. Rediscovered by patience and a hidden camera. Somali sengi declared extinct. 1968, rediscovered 2019. Djibouti. Also known as the Somali elephant shrew, the Somali sengi is a small, fast-moving mammal with an unusually long, flexible snout, oversized ears, and delicate stilt-like legs. Despite its name, it's not a shrew and not closely related to elephants either. But like elephants, it uses its trunk-like nose to probe the ground for insects. It weighs less than a pound, and it can sprint up to 18 miles per hour, zigzagging across rocky terrain to escape predators. The species was last scientifically recorded in 1968. After decades without confirmed sightings, it quietly disappeared from research surveys and conservation lists. Eventually, it was assumed extinct, but the truth was far less dramatic. In 2019, a team of researchers set out to survey rocky desert landscapes in Djibouti, habitats that had received very little scientific attention for decades. They placed over 1,000 traps. Within days, they captured multiple Somali sengis. Alive, healthy, not hanging on by a thread. Just living in remote, arid landscapes scientists hadn't properly explored in over 50 years. The rediscovery shocked researchers not because the species was rare, but because it had simply been overlooked. Today, it is not considered critically endangered, but its habitat remains vulnerable to environmental change and human expansion. The Somali sengi is a reminder of something humbling. Sometimes extinction isn't disappearance. Sometimes it's absence of search. Coelacanth declared extinct approximately 65 million years ago. Rediscovered 1938, South Africa. For millions of years, the coelacanth existed only in fossils. Its remains were found in ancient rock layers, always below the boundary where the dinosaurs vanished. Scientists concluded it had disappeared in the same mass extinction event, around 65 million years ago. It was considered a relic of prehistory, a deep-sea fish covered in thick armored scales, with fleshy limb-like fins that move in an alternating pattern, almost like walking underwater, and a hinged skull that allows it to open its mouth unusually wide when feeding. Then in 1938, off the coast of South Africa, a fishing trawler hauled up something unexpected from the depths. Museum curator Marjorie Courtenay Latimer examined the catch. It wasn't a fossil. It was a living coelacanth. The fish can grow over 6 feet long and weigh more than 200 pounds. It lives in deep underwater caves and volcanic canyons, often hundreds of feet below the surface, in cold, dark waters rarely explored by humans. Its population is extremely small and difficult to estimate, but believed to number in the thousands, scattered across parts of the western Indian Ocean and Indonesia. A prehistoric survivor of mass extinction, a species that outlived dinosaurs, still swimming quietly in modern oceans. These rediscoveries remind us of something powerful. Extinction isn't always immediate. Sometimes species survive in silence on cliffs, in deserts, and deep oceans. But rediscovery is not a happy ending. Many of these animals remain vulnerable, because the line between extinct and alive is thinner than we think. If you're fascinated by stories where science gets it wrong and survival wins, subscribe, because some species we've already given up on might still be out there.